Call the school board meeting to order for April 1st. Dave, roll call please.
Ron?
Here.
Dick?
Here.
John?
Here.
Norm?
Here.
Dave here. Joe?
Here.
Jim?
Present. Proof of notice,
As stated on the agenda.
approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second by Joe, second by Ron. Any questions on the agenda? Joe?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0. Citizens' comments? At this time, I'll let Dave Seiler introduce. He has a student that he wants to introduce.
Just take a few minutes. Chase McKinnon is here to give a little bit of background. I'm a member of Manufacturer Business Alliance for Dodge County, have been for a few years. They started in the last probably 2 or 3 years a education award, person that works in industry and so forth. What's the actual name of it?
Youth apprentice in manufacturing.
There you go, apprentice in manufacturing. Chase is currently working at Quad Graphics, and he's been there for a while. Quad Graphics nominated him for the award, and he won it. So at the annual breakfast that we had a little while ago, he received a little plaque for being awarded that, and I'm very happy for him. So, you gonna give a speech again?
Come on up, Chase.
At least got to put a face with a name.
Yeah.
I didn't really prepare for a speech. It's to be honest.
That's all right. Just give us a little background.
I always grew up in Mayville. I was born in Mayville, raised up throughout here. I'm really grateful that I was able to earn the award. I was told I was hardworking and had high excellence by my own boss, which is extremely well to hear. And I was extremely grateful to earn the award. I'm extremely grateful to be here today to be recognized for this. Thank you.
How long were you at Quad?
I started at the end of July of last year.
Go on, explain what you do.
Yeah.
I basically shadow while also working in manufacturing, so I will watch different people working their different jobs while being there. I experienced the electrical department, the actual maintenance, the 3 different maintenance departments, press, finishing, and fleet maintenance. I experienced many other things, the CRT department, which is chemical research and technology. And I actually, when I shadowed the electrical department, that really interests me and did influence me to be possibly an electrician, industrial electrician. So really grateful for the job. I'm really grateful for everything.
So what's coming up next then? As far as your
Um,
interests, so school or still
Yeah.
at Quad?
I was both actually. I was planning on going to Moraine Park in West Bend because they have electricity degree there. So going through that for 2 semesters, and then while at the same time working at Quad because they also have a pre-apprenticeship for electricians. So possibly being a pre-apprentice while working in the electrical department and also have schooling at the same time.
Awesome. Do you have a modified schedule right now because of the youth apprenticeship?
Yes, I leave for work a little bit, I leave at the end of the day of school, so I'll leave at around 2 o'clock and I'll head straight to work and then work there from 3 to 7,
Yeah.
so.
You're busy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You're making a great choice.
Oh, yeah.
You are.
Yeah, and I would say a lot of the facilities that we went through and looked at and so forth, not on his behalf per se, but Quad Graphics has a whole binder that they put together. So everything that he's talking that he's done, it's their process. And so it's really cool to see something like that through a facility like that. So obviously, as you can hear.
So that's how, their program sounds like I worked up in Sheboygan Falls area, and we worked with a local hospital to create a career clusters model, where you got to do the gambit while you were there, and that's how you found out about the electrical field that you were interested in. So not all apprenticeships do that.
Well, this
So
is,
that's real high quality
yeah,
one.
this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly add, if you don't mind, Chase, I've been pretty humble, is that when he walked out of that awards breakfast, he has chosen the quad path, but he probably had 4 or 5 other job offers as he walked across the stage that day, because they spoke so highly of him.
A lot of big names at a breakfast like that, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, congratulations, Chase,
Thank you.
and good luck.
Would you mind, Scott? We're gonna take advantage of this, and Dave's just gonna give a quick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would give him some applause.
Nice job,
All right, so I was asked to kind of give a state of the state, I guess, as far as everything else that's going on. So I'll quickly go through, hopefully, and try to give you a kind of a synopsis of what's going on. Along with the work experience side of things, I will also say that we do have a couple other people working at MEC right now. We have another person that's filling out their paperwork or is in the process. So we'll have 3 at MEC. There's 1 person working at Metalcraft. We also have a person that's working at Kurt Service, that's an HVAC. That's somebody that's also gonna go kind of into that trades field. So we do have some people that are working in those facilities, so it's kind of nice to be able to share that as
Are you
well.
helping them through work release? Is it youth apprenticeship? Is it?
It's a little of both. There's some work release, there's a couple, 2 youth apprenticeships right now. You know, the biggest thing is getting the component of them being able to get in a class along with what they want to do. And some of the people are understanding that they could go to work at Mac or somewhere else and make more money than they would at McDonald's, so they're starting to kind of gravitate, I think, towards that as well. So I think we're hopefully starting to see that little bit of a shift as well, so that's kind of that part of things. Obviously, we moved in the middle of the school year, so we're kind of in place right now and trying to get settled in and so forth, but I'd like to publicly thank Mr. Fink for helping. There was a few different days that he came over and helped us load up stuff. Randy Clark and about 4 or 5 of his employees came to help for a day, so that was awesome. So being able to get all those things put into place was huge, so thank you guys. Our nice display case across the hall is, if you've ever gotten into the high school, we're trying to put as many projects as possible. Obviously, you can't physically put the projects in there, that'd be a pretty big display case, but at least being able to share with all the great things that we're doing in that space, which is awesome to be able to have that opportunity to do that as well. Mr. Cartman and myself, Mr. Cartman especially, is doing a lot of the photography there, so to speak, so he's doing awesome. Another little thing that's coming up is, I think by next month, we're going to be having an article in an upcoming magazine, Manufacturing Today, Wisconsin. We were approached to have an article written about Mayville manufacturing, so we put that into place, and they're hoping to have that published in April, so hopefully that'll come out and be able to share that with you guys as well. As far as numbers go, we were pretty fortunate for numbers for this fall. We have over 250 students signed up for classes for Tech Ed for this coming fall, which is awesome. That's the highest we've been probably in about 5 or 6 years, and the highest was only about 15 or so more students than that. To put it in perspective, I guess if you look at the last 3 or 4 years when we had kind of a revolving door trying to find another good Tech Ed teacher, the 16-17 school year we had 115, then 120, 192 the following year, and now we're at 250. We did add that home and auto maintenance class back, which we started a while ago. Didn't have the space and kind of put that kind of on the back burner, but now having the lift and everything in the space that we're going to have there, 50 kids signed up for that class for this fall. So that's more of the home and auto maintenance type of thing with your home and your vehicles and all that good stuff. So that's a little snippet of kind of what we're going on as far as the class area goes, or the program goes. Also, if you've kind of been aware, the career fair is coming up again at the end of the month, and just to kind of give you a little bit of information on that, we are well over 30 businesses that will be in the gym this year. We had about 28 or 29 last year. Full capacity with, you know, kind of tight to walk around is probably about 34 in the gym, so we are definitely going to be full. And we had probably about 3 or 4 that probably aren't doing it this year. We gained about 5 or 6 that we didn't have last year, which is awesome. Speakers, as of today, there's about 30 speakers that I think have committed to speaking in an array of careers and so forth based off of the surveys that we gave to the students. We're still trying to get those finalized, but we are hoping to cover every cluster of the 16 if we can. Right now we have 14 of the 16. There's not as much in a couple of the clusters or whatever, but I think we'll have everything covered as much as we possibly can. The other thing that we're doing new this year, I'm trying to bring back graduates. I graduated about 4 to 6 years ago, I guess, to be able to have them speak to the junior seniors especially, if not the whole school, to just kind of give the tips and tricks, what to think about, what they should look for once they graduate and things to that nature. I think as of this afternoon, I think I have 7 graduates that are now kind of in industry or doing multiple things. One is working at Michael's that kind of went a tech school route. We have others that went the 4-year college. One that works at GE, another person I believe that works at Harley Davidson, another person today that works at Regal Wear, all people that have very decent jobs that aren't that far outside of college. So we're hoping to get more that way to be able to cover that basis. So we're excited about that as well. And then new this year, because of the space now that we have, the military was invited, UW colleges will be here, Marion University, Moraine Park is hoping to be there, but apparently they have 3 or 4 different things going on that day. We've also contacted all the numerous volunteer groups. So the hope is that all of those groups will be kind of put out throughout the new front entrance, cafeteria, things like that, in addition to the speakers in the classrooms and the businesses in the gym. So that's kind of where we're at this point. Obviously, we still have a little bit of time yet, so the Great 98 is going to be there. I think they're kind of dabbling with possibly making that a live remote on that day. We're still trying to toy around with the idea of whether we open up to community in the afternoon or not. We did that last year, and we had, I think, a grand total of 2 people show up between 3:30 and 5 o'clock. And half the businesses left by 3:30 as well, so it's hard to say. You know, if we do it on a Friday into a Saturday, we could probably get more, but you know, we kind of want to gear this towards the students because it's their one chance to get them as much information as possible. Whether we get the community involved, you know, we'll see what happens. We'd love to if we can. The paper also wanted to be a part of this as well, so we'll be in discussions with the paper as far as how to advertise it a little bit, so hopefully they'll help us out with that. The radio, I think, is already committed to helping us with 10 radio spots for free like they did last year, so that was nice. A lot of companies donating a lot more merchandise this year. Last year, I think we raised about $2,800 and we were able to feed the students, I think, for lunch. This time, I don't know. You know, we have some of the bigger name companies that are willing to shell out a little bit of money for it, but I don't know what that dollar amount is yet, but I think almost everybody is donating at least merchandise. We've had raffles last year. What we did in the past, or what we did last year, was we gave the businesses in the gym a whole bunch of raffle tickets. If the kids came up to talk to those business people would give them a raffle ticket, and then they got to put it into all kinds of stuff. We had like $500 worth of script cards that we bought from the PTA, and so they really liked that. So we'll see how things go that way, but that's the snippet.
What's the date?
April 30th. Yep, yeah, we pushed it back a little bit further, I think more because of trying to stay away from conflicts. We were thinking April 10th last year. Couldn't do that one again, that was my son's birthday, I screwed that up last year.
Well, by
So-
April 30th too, the gym lobby hopefully will be kind of put back together.
And that's what I'm hoping, the more that we kind of push that back, I think there'll be more to see. And having more space, I think, is what kind of lends us to do a lot of other things, so that's kind of the goal, so.
Good job, Dave.
That's what I had. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
Okay, we have resolution 1819183, approval of minutes of the previous meeting. Motion by Norm. Second by Joel. Any questions on the minutes? Norm?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carried 7-0. FFA report?
Hi, I'm Stacia. I'm the Mayville FFA president. We just had our banquet on March 14th. We introduced the new officers who are Corey Worth, Jasmine Black, Hunter Elvis, Melissa Batterman, Brandon Franke and myself. We handed out some awards, which were Outstanding Seniors, which were Timothy Sternberg, Hunter Stager, and Trinity Radcliffe. We had Outstanding Service Awards go to Bill Ty and Dave Westfall. This Friday, we have our career development events competition at Fox Valley Technical College. On April 8th, we have our chapter meeting, and then April 12th, we have some students going to an Envirothon to learn more about the environment and how to take care of it. And then we got plugs recently for our plant sale in May, and then Trinity Radcliffe is a state finalist for her proficiency in agricultural production. She won 8th gold and won some silver and bronze awards for her proficiency also. And that's it.
Thank you, Stacia. Student council? No. Do you have any communications?
We have 3 letters. Scott sent out thank yous to Modern Woodman and Patty Cakes for their donation for the garden tower for the 4th grade students. And then he also sent out a thank you to the members of the Baca River Foundation for the Challenge Day Be the Change initiative.
Thank you. Next, we have resolution 1819-184, approval of regular semi-monthly bills.
So moved.
Motion by Dick. Second by Jim. Questions on the bills? Hearing none. Dick?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried 7-0. Any committee reports? Administrator report.
Scott.
Hi, I'm here to present to you today on the progress of the playground planning team, which is a district team that began last spring in conclusion of our first annual PTA fun run. The PTA decided to do a fun run, which was actually a Blue Zones initiative. PTA was looking for a way to fund regular things like playground balls and jump ropes and simple playground equipment like that, that they used to fund through the Campbell Soup Labels, which was a discontinued program. As we started doing our planning for our first annual fun run, we realized that the potential of the profits from this fun run would far surpass what we would need for those simple playground things. So we surveyed the staff and students about other things they might want or like for their playground. And in that survey, we were a little astonished to find out that there were a lot of needs that we really didn't realize existed. So if you scroll down a little bit, not quite that far.
Okay.
There we go. Some of the needs that were identified is our middle school equipment has kind of seen its better days. It's over 20 years old, and the playground is much less than what it used to be because so many components have been rusted out or broken and then removed because of safety reasons. The other large problem at the middle school is the location of our playground. It's at the top of the hill, which makes it not accessible to some of our students. So, and then just overcrowding in some of the play areas because our middle school has a larger number of students and there's just that one playground set. There's a lot of kids kind of crowded down in the concrete area. And then from an occupational therapist perspective, the equipment we do have at Parkview, for example, there's a lot of monkey bars and a lot of slides. There's not a lot of other sensory movement that's happening on that playground, such as lateral movement and climbing, crawling, and swinging and spinning. So those were some needs that kind of glared out at us. And so last spring, our planning and investigations kind of began, what do we want to do about this problem and how can we help? So the PTA started brainstorming and eventually realized that this was really an issue we need to work more closely with the district with. So last summer we formed our playground planning team, which includes our administration at Parkview and the middle school and Mr. Sable. It includes a few PTA moms and a few other parents out there. This was a publication that we sent out via email to all families late last week, just to kind of give them progress on where we're at in this planning. Lily, for example, is one of those students that goes to recess and can't really do anything. The playground, as you can see in this photo, is at the top of the hill, and by the time Lily would make it to the top of the hill, the recess whistle would blow and she'd have to come right back down and not get a chance to play. So last spring, we made you aware of kind of our thoughts and ideas by applying for an innovation grant, which we're very appreciative of. We spent some of that money on this Gaga pit, which is something new at the middle school on our asphalt, and the kids have literally gone gaga over it. It's been a lot of fun and a great addition to our playground. It's a wooden pit that has a playground ball that goes inside it. They kind of do, it's sort of like a four-square game. They have to kind of one-handed bat the ball back and forth and not get out by getting tagged by the ball. The kids love it, and it's great for a variety of age ranges. Mr. Seiler was especially gracious. He had Mayville Manufacturing assemble that for us, and they donated all of their time and the lumber. So all we purchased out of the innovation grant was the bracket set. And Luke Niemeyer, he had an award that he got from his Shop for Kids grant that also helped to pay for part of this. So that's one new addition. Our playground planning team has worked over the course of the last school year just looking at different possibilities and getting kind of ballpark quotes from different companies. So if you scroll a little further down, these are some of the concepts that we're looking at. If you can go just a little further to see all the pictures. Another need that was identified was there's not a lot for our older kids to do. So at the top of the hill, we'd like to put a ninja course, which is that top rightmost picture. There you go. And that would be something that is designed for ages like 10 to adult. And so that's something that even the high school athletic teams could use for training. Adults in the community could use it for their own physical fitness.
Looks like a survivor obstacle course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At the bottom right corner, I think, is the smash hit. I think the middle school presents a problem just with the steep hill. So we wanted to figure out how to utilize that hill without doing major excavation, and that kind of led us to this company called Landscape Structures. They can build a hill slide, which then makes slides actually accessible to students as well because they don't have to navigate through a playground system to get to the top of the slide. Some of those middle pieces we're thinking about for Parkview, some sort of safer spinning device. That thing there that's red is called an Omni Spin. The climbing wall, and then for the middle school, that top left picture is called Global Motion. That's something kids can climb on and spin in. That's something a student like Lily, for example, could get out of her chair and sit in the middle of and enjoy that spinning motion. So that's kind of our ideas. Last year, the fun run was amazingly successful. We had over 20 local sponsors, and that allowed us to run the event basically for free and already start with a little bit of profit. Each child got a free t-shirt that we would tally laps on, and then they each got a free apple or banana to enjoy after they did their race. The $17,500 in profit was all their pledge money. So kindergarten through 5th grade did this race, and that is how much they collected in pledges, which is an outstanding figure. And then the total amount includes the $4,000 from the innovation grant that you awarded us last spring. So we are planning our next fun run, which is slated for May 17th. I would like to invite any of you or all of you to come and help tally laps. It is a very exciting event. The kids really get charged up. The high school band will be playing, the pep band will play some music at the middle school course events. And so we're excited for that.
Cool. You do have concepts also attached to this?
Yeah, we kind of
Cover
came
that?
up with a three-phase idea for how to accomplish some of these goals. So our first phase is going to happen this summer at Parkview. Parkview doesn't present as many